The Sri Lankan government has been criticised by human rights groups for not doing more to investigate the disappearances.
Now, you're prepared to talk to me tonight about this.
Reports by groups like the Asian Human Rights Commission back up the testimony of Tamil families here in Sydney.
She said she had one phone call and they asked for some money. And she said immediately she wanted to talk to her son first. And,
Tanveer, again not his real name, has also suffered the torment of having a family member kidnapped. His sister's 20-year-old son was abducted from the family apartment in Colombo just before Christmas last year.
And someone knocked on the door, and there were only 4 or 5 people outside. They said there's some sort of police investigation, and they called out his name. So he walked out, and he told his mother that I'll sort this and come. And when she came out, she saw them sort of pushing them, in a white van. And by the time she came out, the van drove off.
A few weeks after the abduction, Tanveer's sister received a phone call from the kidnappers.
They said they'll come back to her with some details. She told me that, and I told her, whatever the money, somehow, we'll get him out. So this is about 3 months ago, so we've been waiting since, to hear from those people.
Tanveer's family believes the boy may have been taken by the Sri Lankan security forces and handed over to the Karuna group to be trained as a militant.
I think he was arrested. I think it's by the army or police. I don't think it's a rebel group. But there have been stories about army and police arresting kids and handing out the Karuna group to fight against Tamil Tigers. Maybe that has happened, I'm not sure.
Dr. Mohan also believes that many of the younger kidnapping victims are being forcibly recruited to fight for paramilitary groups. But he says none of it would be possible without the approval of corrupt government officials.
It's a combination of paramilitary groups, combination of government highly placed officials and the military and the armed forces. There should be connivance between all these groups for effectively to carry this out again and again and again without being caught.
As implausible as this sounds, just a few months ago, Sri Lanka's police chief announced that criminal gangs were involved in the kidnappings, along with corrupt police and military officers. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner confirms this, but says corrupt officials are already being dealt with.
Many of them are ex-fellow servicemen, and a couple of people are serving police. Not many, but those fellows have been now thrown out there under detention and being charged.
The Department of Foreign Affairs says it cannot offer an opinion as to who it thinks is behind the kidnappings. But Dr. Mano Mahan believes that the government needs to do more to help its Tamil citizens and their families.
So Australia, I feel, should take a leading role and call a spade or a spade, talk to Sri Lankan government, authorities, and possibly also canvass countries like the United Kingdom, which has a moral obligation in this problem because Sri Lanka was a British colony, and perhaps canvass even America and the European Union to take a more proactive role in this problem, leaving the political problem alone, to take a very hard line on these human rights violations and to put a stop to that.
The whole Tamil thing's such a mess and won't go away. That bothering report from Nick Lazaridis was researched by Yalda Hakim. Nick tells us that the Sri Lankan High Commissioner here in Australia says that he's never been approached by the Department of Foreign Affairs in relation to the quite amazing rash of kidnappings. Coming up, a former top CIA operative who spent years leading the hunt for Osama bin Laden.
He's a man that's extraordinarily talented, has put together an organization that's absolutely unique in the Islamic world.